Thanks, Gary, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. I am delighted to be here to support ARC. With all their hard work, their passion, they're helping and supporting individuals with addiction and their loved ones, would be myself. Who am I? I'm Donna, and I'm Canadian. That will answer your curiosity, is she Canadian or American? I've lived here for 43 years. I'm blessed with twin daughters and a son. Daddy passed away 23 years ago. Daughters were at 16, son was at 13. So we had our struggles, as everyone does. And you just have to get on with it, as you tell yourself. The best you can and the best you know how. Easier than said than done. My son is recovering with addiction, hence why I am here today. I joined the family support group 3 years ago. I believe I was in the second session of the start of this group. ARC recognized the family of a loved one's addiction also suffers. I joined to get understanding of addiction. Why? What is this all about? What is this addiction? How can it be dealt with? And a little support was going to be helpful. Well, support I got. I got more support than I realized that this group could give you. Several others in the group, as a family support group, they got a lot out of it too, because we all talked to each other, we became friends. It was great to realize that the fight in my mind, I wasn't the only one worrying, walking the floors, anxiety, just to say a few. I realized I wasn't alone fighting, and support was a need to get the family member through it. You can't get all the answers because most of the answers are with the person that's in addiction. We have a lot of answers with ourselves, but we need some tools to work with them. As mothers and fathers, brothers, sisters, friends, whoever, any loved one, we'll do anything in our power to help addiction. Addiction is a disease, which a lot of us don't realize. The shame comes into it, where I would have never commented that my son was an addict. Embarrassed. What will people say? Then when you learn more about the addiction, you realize it wasn't their choice. But on the other hand, you have to accept that it's their choice to reach out and get help. And that is where hope comes into it. Sitting in a circle at the family sessions, you don't have to speak. Just sit there, listen. Listening helped me a lot. When I was listening to other people's stories, as everyone is different, I thought to myself, I don't need to be here. My stories aren't as bad as others. I'm wasting other people's time. But before I realized I was broken, as anyone else was, we realize there is always something that we can deal with. This 6-week family session flew by. And to stay engaged, Gary asked us to stay behind and say, look, what more can we do for you? This is a new session that we're doing. What more do you need? What more do you want? And they listened. So now there is a monthly meetup, coming for a cup of tea, a wee bun, seeing other people from family groups, listening to other stories, or just being there and having a friendly face to talk to, and know that those people are in the same wavelength as you are. You want support, and you want to support others. It was amazing to see how everybody at the monthly meetings had so much more confidence. Everyone progressed. We progressed within ourselves, realizing addiction isn't our fault. And the tools and the boundaries and the enabling, all to say a few, all those tools, looking after yourself, will give us a better place to deal with the person who has addiction. The sessions gave us a few hours and space to speak if you wanted to, think and listen. Several members commented that it's really the first time they sat for an hour and a half, and just thought, how am I feeling? How am I getting through this? And that's the realization then, as a family member, to reach out, and you have to reach out to get some help. How can I say this the right way? There's no right and wrong way, but the tools help you navigate situations. There was a girl in the group, and she cried when she introduced herself, and that was okay. Just let her cry. And she told me after, that's the first time I've cried in 3 years. I've been walking the streets looking for my daughter. I've been doing this and I've been doing that, and worried sick. And she realized, she let it all go to realize that it's not her fault. And she's going to be no good to her daughter, unless she looks after herself. It was a great learning curve for several of us. We don't do that often enough, is just to sit and think and have our own time to ourselves. And that hour and a half every week was precious. It was precious because you're sitting in a confidential group to be able to speak your mind. No one's going to judge you. Told them that, of course, shame stopped me from speaking to other people. Family, I didn't have many family here, but I didn't want them to know. I didn't want their opinions. It's my son. It's my son that has the addiction. But you soon realize that the support you need is there, and it will get you through this. ARC's always there at the end of a phone call. They have now weekly sessions, check-in sessions. Come in and have a cup of tea. No wee bun. Maybe a few more buns, but it's confidential, remember? And speak to different people just for half an hour. You've taken that half an hour for yourself. We can all ask ourselves, when did we ever take time out for ourselves to make ourselves a better person to help these addiction people? So if anyone is reluctant to join the family support group, as I was, I can reassure you that it's okay to reach out for help and support. Just like the person with the addiction, it's okay to reach out for that help and support. And the support's always there. You're not alone. I've attended ARC's conferences every year, which I think is some hard work to get together. And we learn a lot from them. Well, I learn a lot from listening to speakers. It puts our doubts into perspective. It helps understand why addiction is happening, and helps us understand the tools for these people with addiction that they're going to go through. And this is why they behave this way. My son, I never knew he wasn't confident. I thought he was the best. Great sense of humor. thought he was full of confidence. That was one of the main things why he turned to addiction. And as a parent, you say, well, it's my fault. Did I not do enough? When Daddy died, did he go off the rails? Did I not see it? You doubt yourself all the time. But at the end of the day, when you talk to other people and you speak with ARC and they tell you why this is happening and make you realize it's not you that made the decision. It was the person with addiction. Unfortunately, we can't make things happen. It's the ones who have the addiction that have to reach out and have to make the decision. And until that time, hope is what I have, and we should all have. Hope will give us perspective. Hope. There was a speaker last year which I thought was brilliant. It was the Hope group, community group, and it always stuck in my head. She says, "You don't use the words if your loved one is going to take the recovery road, but it's when. Could be down the years. You may go through a lot more turmoil. But when you have that support and you have reached out and you're having a bad day and you don't know where to go or what to do, there's always someone there at the end of the phone to say, I need to come and see you. What do I do? They're not giving us all our answers. They can't. It's the individual that has an addiction that can give you all the answers, because it's the way they feel within themselves. The society has become rampant with drugs and alcoholic. But alcoholism has been here for years, but wasn't recognized as it is recognized now, because it was legal. And when you've seen somebody out of their face, you judge them. Say, well, they decided to do that. Get on with it. You hear parents and why people don't confer in their family, because their family's going to say, throw them out. You've had enough. How much more are you going to deal with? That's not the answer to a parent, a partner, or anyone that loves this person. The answer is trying to cope. Sometimes it happens, you have to put them out. And we were talked about boundaries and enabling. I was the first one to put my hand. I am a 200% enabler. But I was lucky, because luck was on my side, as I felt, because I had a lot of hope. My son now is in addiction recovery for 3.5 years now. And he realizes now, going through programs and helping himself, he didn't just go through this 6-week program. He continued going to our different meetings, helping other people. And maybe in a way this gave him some self-worth to say, I didn't like that life. I'm going to try to help somebody else that doesn't like this life. So, am I almost finished? To end this conversation, I just want to thank everybody for coming here and supporting this conference, because there's a lot that we feel that we can't do. So what I do is I just support it, come to it, ask if I can volunteer to do anything. I work, I can't be there every day. But when Gary asked me to speak, I thought, no, I'm not a speaker, Gary, no thank you, really. But I didn't say that. I just sat and thought for a minute, well, do you know what? Anything that helps. I'm not up here with statistics and different things from textbooks. I'm just here to explain my experiences through ARC and just hope that anybody with addiction goes on that right road. And they will. If you believe it in yourself, they will. You'll be a better person. Oh, it's easier said than done, I know. I know when you're walking the floors and wondering where they are, or you get the phone call. But that's their doing. They need to reach out. You'll be always there to support them, there's no question. But it's a question of how you're going to support them. So when I went to the family group, they gave us these tools and explained why they're lashing out. There was a girl there said, listening to this, the ARC professionals saying, if you're shouting back, you're going to be as bad as the person shouting to you. Just listen. And it won't get excavated, you won't get hot-tempered. Just listen. Sometimes it's hard. But it's these wee tools that we all looked at each other and thought, it's a bit of common sense. But you don't know that. And unless it's put in words, and it's available to be stuck in life with someone who's got an addiction. But I'm lucky because my son, I will now tell you who my son is. I'm proud as punch of my baby son. And my son is Henry Roddy, that was up here doing the iPod. So how can I not help when I have a son that is in great recovery, has become a father on Father's Day, and is a great father? He's back to my son, the son that I didn't know for a long time, because he hid everything from me, he lied. That doesn't matter, that's the past. A lot of things when you're a family member, you are holding on to hurt. The things that happened, the hectic times that this loved one gave you. But you have to let that go, because you're not going to help the person that wants to move forward. Let go of all those bad memories. And I'm sure there'll be other incidences that you will be experiencing. But they won't feel as hard, because you have this knowledge that it's not your fault. You know how to hopefully you know how to cope with the situation. And you have support. And all you have to do is reach out for it. So if there's anything that I can close off with is hope. It's not if it happens. It's when it happens. And it's all we can do. And be there for anybody that needs help. And hopefully do it right. We're not all perfect. None of us are. We all have our doubts as parents and friends. That doesn't matter. Moving forward is the secret. Hope. Thank you.